Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Today is Friday. We're done with the week. We're in the new month as well in December. So it looks like today we are going to be green on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Markets were a little bit mixed today, so we'll take a look at all that. We'll also take a look at the Bitcoin miners. Argo, again, hit a new 52-week low today. Everybody else did fine, but they were down for the most part. Some were up. We'll get into that. And then we also have Digihost production update for November, lower production. But we'll get into all that. And then we got some great news from Cleanspark. So record-breaking month for them as far as production is concerned. And then we have a lot of institutions buying into them as well. So that is all good news there. There is some bad news. We'll look at it as well. And as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice. Do for entertainment only. Do your own research. I'm investing in finding coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. Okay, let's take a look at the markets here. See what's going on there. And S&P was down 0.12% today to 4,071. Dow Jones was up 0.1% to 34,429. NASDAQ was down 0.4% to 11,994. Bitcoin, on the other hand, was up a little bit today. It was green, so it was up 0.68% today with a close of 17,094. We hit a low of 16,791 and a high of 17,108. So we're doing okay there. For the week, let's take a look. I believe we're going to be green on the week. Yep, so we got another second week where we're green on Bitcoin, which is good. Hopefully this trend continues going forward, but we'll see. But if we look at the, where is it? The weekly moving average. Excuse me. So the red line is the 200 weekly moving average here. You can see we are way, way below it. We have, for the most part, historically, stayed above it except for a couple of periods in time where we were bouncing off of it or we went below it, but the following week, we went back up above it. This time around, with all the bad news that we've had this summer, we've been staying below it. So I'm looking for a rally to get us above it again. But we'll see how long that takes us to get there. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart here really quick. Let's turn off the weekly line. And we can see here that RSI has come down a little bit. It's at 60 now. Last time it was around here. We're up a little bit in price as well. So it's looking good right now on the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 1-hour chart as well, RSI has come down to 55. We did bounce up a little bit here today, but it has come down to 55. And we are still, if we go back to the previous one here, we are about at the same point right now. So we'll see how this weekend is going to play out, whether or not we get a reversal where we're going a little bit more bearish, or if we continue going up in price, but we'll see. Okay. Ethereum was up also today. Excuse me. It was up just a little bit, 1.5% today. So it closed at 1,295. We had a low of 1,265 and a high of 1,297. And it's doing pretty much the same thing as Bitcoin is as well. If we look at the 4-hour chart, RSI has come down a little bit. Price-wise, we have gone up in price on it. And if we look at the 1-hour chart as well, the RSI is at 57. Last time we were here, so it's actually doing a little bit better than Bitcoin is. It's still positive on the price, while the RSI is the same. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Okay. Next is Annie. Annie was down 1.87% today to 31 cents. Argo was down 3.63% to 6 cents. BitDigital was down 0.81, or sorry, they were up 0.81% to 93 cents. Bitfarms was down 0.38% to 57 cents. Cleanspark was down 0.87% to $2.28. Cores was down 3.58% to 14 cents. Digihost was down 2.06% to 58 cents and a half. DMG was down 0.09% to 15 cents. Greenidge was down 6.52% to 58 cents. Hive was actually up today 0.45% to $2.22. Hut 8 was up 4.17% to $1.25. Iris Energy was up 1.91% to $1.60. Luxfolio was flat on the day at still less than a penny. Marathon was up today 11.27% to $6.91, which was surprising. Everybody else was kind of flat on the day, but they were up actually. Mawson was down 7.21% to 31 cents. Riot was up 8.3% to $4.86, and Soluna was up 0.32% to 78 cents. And lastly, Stronghold was down 1.66% to 68 cents. Now let's take a look at the network chart here. We're looking at the 1-day average chart. We peaked back up here, looks like, to 281 million terahashes per second, and we've fallen back down to, 229. So the 17,000 mark might be a mark where the miners are once again a little bit profitable. So we saw that spike happening here while we ran up to 17,000 and above. Now we're coming back down as we fell below 17,000, but right now we're slightly, are we slightly above it? No, that's not what I wanted to show you guys. Where is it? It is here. Where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin's about 17,000. So we'll see how that's going to continue going forward. I would expect if Bitcoin starts going back up that the RSI, not the RSI, the network hash rate is also going to be going up as well. And we're kind of seeing that a little bit here, that we might have bottomed out here at 200 million terahashes. This was back on the 25th of November. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. Keep you guys posted on what's going on there. And that is all for the markets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the miners. Let's take a look at our first story here. So our first story is from Digihost, announces their year-over-year, year-to-date 45% increase in Bitcoin production and provides operational update. We'll just look over the operational updates and not really worry about the year-over-year part. So production highlights for November is they mined 61.32 BTC, resulting in total holdings of 98.38 BTC at the end of the November, valued at approximately 1.69 million, based on BTC price of 17,169 as of November 30th. Okay, so that's all good. Their production is down a little bit, but we'll take a look at it as well. We know they still have Ethereum holdings of 800.89. That is valued at approximately 1.04 million. And that's based on the Ethereum price of 1,296. Digital assets inventory value consisting of BTC and Ethereum of approximately 2.73 million. And in addition to company held cash of approximately 2.62 million. So their total cash and liquid assets is about 5.35 million, which is pretty good. And they don't have any debt, so that's pretty good. So consistent with management's commitment to avoid equity dilution for its shareholders, the company sold a portion of its BTC production during November to fully fund its energy costs. The company mining operations continue to remain cash flow positive, so that's good there. Digihost also remains debt-free, with the exception of approximately $1 million of mortgage debt secured by its Alabama facility, so that's fine there. Custodial services. So there's obviously some fear in the markets after what happened with FTX, with Celsius, others as well. So this is, I think, actually a good move on their part. So as a result of the potential contagion from the recent collapse of FTX, the company made the decision to move a majority of its digital currencies to an offline cold storage wallet in order to better safeguard its assets. This change in custodial practices is consistent with the company's risk management strategy in the current market environment, which is fine. The only concern there is they better have a two-person authentication or method or something like that where they can get to those coins in their cold storage. Otherwise, the fear is always going to be there that we've seen this before, where the CEO of or like an exchange or something like that, ran off with the coins, with the hardware wallet, and is nowhere to be found. So, or somebody dies, and then they have problems because they can't get to the coins as well. So that's always a problem. So you need almost like 2 or 3 people that have access to it, and ideally you'd want them to have it where at least 2 out of the 3 can open it up. Whether it's one person passes away for whatever reasons, the other 2 can still gain access to it. So there's always those things that you want to keep in mind as well. Next is North Tonawanda Power Plant Acquisition Update. So the company continues to move forward with its closing documentation and approval requirements related to Digihost acquisition of 60-megawatt power plant in North Tonawanda. That's in New York. Management anticipates this transaction will close in Q1 of 2023, providing the company with additional computing capacity of approximately 1.04 exahash based upon a power generation run rate of approximately 50 megawatts from the plant. So that'll be good. Hopefully, we know there's some blowback in New York as far as miners are concerned. There's some laws, I think they were enacted already, that basically say the miners need to be using 100% green energy. I don't know how green that plant is, whether it's using natural gas, which still could be considered fossil fuel, but we'll see on that one. So when combined with the Digihost current operations, total computing capacity from the company's New York State operations is projected to be approximately 1.7 exahash, which would be 1 exahash higher than where they are right now, approximately. Alabama site build-out. So the Alabama Phase 1 build-out is continuing on schedule and on budget, with the testing of mining equipment beginning in December. Phase 1 is scheduled for completion in Q1 of 2023, will provide the company with 22 megawatt of power capacity, resulting in additional mining capacity of approximately 550 petahash, so half an exahash. So that'll be good there. That would get them to, I think, that would get them to 2.2 exahash, 2.3, somewhere around there. So that would be a really good growth for them. They've been kind of stuck at this 600 petahash for a while. Let's see here. That's it. Let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, then we'll get into Cleanspark. So Digihost, shares outstanding is about 28.5 million shares, stock price 59 cents, market cap is at 16.8 million right now. It looks like we have finally a green week here for them. It looks like they're going to be up about 8.06% on the week. Current hash rate is 650 petahash. Future hash rate, I have them at 1.1. We'll see where they end up getting to once they start announcing purchases of miners. They are currently 56% operational, and they have about 76% growth left to get to the 1.1 exahash. Hash rate average per miner is 99 terahashes, so that's pretty good. BTC HODL is 98.38, valued at about 1.6 million right now. And let's see what else do we got here. Let's move on over here. So during the month, they mined 61.32 BTC, which is a decrease from October, which was 74.58. That's a 13.26% decrease on it. And it also had an impact on their BTC per exahash. So that dropped down to 94 from 114. And that could be, excuse me, that could be based on the difficulty increases that we've seen in November. They also didn't install anything, so the longer they don't install anything, that efficiency is going to go down unless the network hash rate goes down along with the difficulty in the network. That is the only way that they're going to be possibly able to mine more. Okay, but I think as miners continue to install more going forward, the network difficulty and hash rate are going to increase, resulting in them generating less Bitcoin each month going forward. Okay, so there's that. We have them at about 1.07 million in revenue for the month. And since they didn't install any miners in November, we left them where they were, but they were only set to mine for about 25 and a half days. So they might have done some curtailing there, or they had power shut off for whatever reason for 4.5 days. Excuse me. That covers that. Institutions also. Institutions stay the same. Number 19 institutions, but some have sold out. About, 40,000 shares were sold. So it's a little bit less, 1.86 million from 1.9 million. It's a decrease in percentage owned, 6.65 from 6.79. We still have the same buy rating for them, but the price targets got cut to $1.86 for the high, average, and low. So that's not good there as well. They really do need to grow like any other miner. Right now, what we're looking at for them, for the quarter, Q4 right now, we're looking at about 3.8 million if everything stays the same. Bitcoin stays where it's at, and they actually mine for the 31 days in December. That would get them to close to 3.8, but that's going to change depending on where the network hash rate goes, depending where Bitcoin price goes. That's going to change. So right now, we're looking at the three previous quarters and this current quarter, we're looking at combined total of 22 million in revenue. 50% net income from that, we're looking at 11 million. So that would get us, with a P of 15, we're looking at $5.87. That's kind of on the high end, I think, unless Bitcoin starts going up in value. But ideally, probably between 10 P and 15 is kind of where I'm looking for them. So 10 would be $3.91, and 15 would be $5.87. So they are still way undervalued, like most miners are currently. So that is it for Digihost. Things that we want to see is growth. They need to get the plant purchased, operational, up and running. They need to get their Alabama site up and running as well to get more hash rate for themselves. And that's going to help them out in the long run. But they also have to look into the future and look for other places or expanding the places that they do have currently with more electricity so they can grow. Whenever any miner's not growing, they're going to be generating less unless Bitcoin goes up in value really, really, really high. Okay. That is it. That's all I would say on them. Otherwise, they're at least holding steady right now with hash rate, no debt, which is good. So we'll just leave it at that. I think it was okay. They know what they got to do. They just got to execute on it. Okay. So that was Digihost. Let's take a look at Cleanspark right now. So Cleanspark provides their November 22 Bitcoin mining update. There's quite a bit to go over here. So Here's a quote from Zach Bradford, the CEO. Our teams have worked hard this month to maintain phenomenal uptime while racking new machines and identifying operational and power efficiencies. Our efforts ultimately resulted in material gains to our hash rate to where we once again have exceeded our year-end guidance. Our teams in technology are continuing to make meaningful and innovative gains as we manage toward maximizing margins. So that's good there. Here's the update unaudited. Bitcoin mined in November was 535. Year to date, basically they mined 4,157. Total BTC holdings as of November 30th was 281. Total BTC converted for operations and growth was 544. Currently deployed fleet of about 55,000 miners with a hash rate of 5.5 exahash. So they stated this a couple months back that they want to get to 5.5 exahash by the end of the year. They've done this a month early. They've done an exceptional job this year, growing and improving their guidance for the year as a whole. So nice job by those guys there. And they are up 8% from October 2022, where they were at 5 exahash at that point. November daily mined BTC averaged 17.8 and then reached a high of 19.4. So that's pretty good there. Operational updates. So exceeds revised guidance. The company exceeded its updated guidance of 5.5 exahash in part due to efficiency gains, including record uptime and effective overclocking at its immersion cooled campus in Norcross. So that would have been, that would have been nice to know what gains they had. All right. I think we'll get some more data once they have it figured out. I know that they're still working on it, trying to figure out what's the best combination of overclocking, cooling, and everything else. I think once they get that all zeroed in, we'll get some more data on that, I would hope. So while continuing to explore our opportunities for disciplined, measured growth, the management team does not anticipate another substantial increase to its hash rate before year end, unless 30 megawatts of pending capacity at the company's Sandersville, Georgia campus comes online earlier than expected. So they're going to be pretty much stuck at 5.5 exahash until this happens. And at that point, we'll get another, maybe 500 petahash growth there, maybe 550, 600 petahash growth from the 30 megawatts. We'll see what that actually entails. So that would be good. But right now, we'll have maybe a month or two where we don't have any growth from them. They could always surprise us. In the meantime, the company is starting phase 2 expansion of its Washington, Georgia site. Design and procurement are already underway, and construction is expected to begin in January 2023, adding an additional 50 megawatts to that campus. So there's going to be another, going to be close to 1 exahash for that, right? So we got a total of approximately 1.5 exahash that we could get within the next 2-3 months. That would get us to approximately 7 exahash. So that would be really cool. That'd be really great. Next, power optimization. The company expects to head into a period of active power optimization over the next few weeks as it balances its portfolio of power agreements with current Bitcoin prices and otherwise seeks to maximize its margins. So we may see some power curtailment. I don't know if they have a deal where they get credits or not, but it might help them out going into next year with doing some curtailing right now, I guess. But we'll see. And that is it. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, and we'll call it a day. Cleanspark. Okay, so currently 47 million shares outstanding. Stock is at $2.28. Market cap 107 million right now. We are down, it looks like, on the week, down 2.63% on the week. So that's a little surprising there. Current hash rate 5.5 exahash, future hash rate of about 7. So that's kind of what we were saying there within the next couple of months. That's what they have reported of buying miners for. But they are trying to get to 22 exahash by the end of next year. So that's going to be a very audacious goal for them to reach. Wishing them all the best that they can do it, but it might be tough. Okay. Hash rate per miner is about 98 on average, which is pretty good. Number of miners, I have them at 55, almost 56,000. They said 55,000, so we're pretty close to that right there. BTC HODL is 281, valued at about 4.7 million right now. And you can see the production here on BTC. They squeaked out a little record for their BTC production by 3 BTC, which is surprising given that they also had one last day to do it. So that's actually a pretty good beat there. If we had that one extra day, they would have beaten it by another, what did they say, almost 19 BTC that they're mining at the end here. Another 19 would have been 554 BTC. So that would have been a pretty good beat there for them. Okay. Now, BTC mined 535. We discussed that. That's an increase of 3%, or 0.56%, sorry. 3 more than they did. That gets them to about 9.4 million in revenue here for November. They had 10,400,000, almost a million more in October. Bitcoin price was higher at that point as well. Network hash rate was a little bit lower as well. That contributed to it also. So those are the numbers there. They did sell, like they said, 544 BTC, about 9.5 million worth. And they still have 281 there. Their BTC per exahash was 97. That's come down as well. If we look at the numbers here, I forgot to do this on Digihost, so we'll do this also for Digihost. Digihost, their average BTC, so if you take the prior month exahash number and average it out with November's numbers, you get a little bit of a different number here. So for Cleanspark, I got them at 101, which is a little bit lower than Bitfarm's at 105. And Digihost came in at 94 Bitcoins per exahash. So that isn't too bad. They're still above 100, so that's pretty good. Okay. Going back to Cleanspark here, we saw that here are the miners that we got installed. And they did look like, to me, they were shut down for possibly 2 days also this month, it looks like, based on the numbers that I have for them. And that could be for any number of reasons. Could have been one of their facilities was down for a couple of days, and that just, we don't know. But that's kind of what I'm calculating here to get to the 9.4 million in revenue. These are the numbers that we got installed here. So we got 810 of the 100 terahash miners here mining for about 6.5 days. We got 575 of the 100 terahash miners and 2,644. Why is it 0.4? Not sure why that came out that way. But those are also for 5 days mining roughly, and everything else mined for a full month here for the most part, except for 2 days. Now, institution-wise, we are looking at a nice increase here. So we got institutions at 162 institutions that are in it right now. That is the highest that they've had here all since I've been tracking them. And it's probably going to be the highest that they've been at. But it's also a nice increase here in the number of shares to 17.2 million from 15 million. So institutions are buying into them, which bodes well for us in the long run, I believe. And they own 36.68% of the company. Excuse me. So that's a significant amount. And I think that's going to be only better for us once Bitcoin starts going back up in price. I think the stock is going to do pretty well going forward as there's going to be less shares to trade. They're going to get, it's going to go up nicely. We'll still have one strong buy rating, two buy ratings, and the price target stayed the same at $12 for the high, $9.33 for the average, and the low of $6 right now. Okay, looking at what we're currently waiting for. We're waiting for them to report I think it's their Q4, but it's Q3 this year. Numbers, once that's going to be reported, I think that's going to be the 12th or the 14th of this month. They're going to report that. So we'll get that updated in here. Currently, we're still using the last 3 quarters, which is Q2 and Q1 of this year and Q4 of last year, which was going to be their Q1, I believe. So we're using those numbers. We're still waiting on this number to get updated. Right now, I'm at 25.2 million for their mining. We'll see where we come in at. And then we're looking at about 30 million for this quarter if everything stays the same, which we know it's not. Bitcoin is probably going to go up or down. Network hash rate, we'll see how that goes. If Bitcoin goes down, network hash rate is probably going to go down as well. But still a beat here over Q3 if it plays out that way. So that would be really good. So they have done a pretty good job here growing their revenue. So we're not using this number here. We're only using this last quarter number here, which is 25.2 million, and the prior 3 quarters, which got us to 104 million for the last 3 quarters. Prior to that, total combined is 130 million. We'll change this out once we get the results from Q3. But at 50%, we're looking at 65 million, or a PE of 2 is kind of like where it's trading right now. Stock price is 228. It's pretty close to that. But I think once Bitcoin starts going back up, they could easily be going for 20 or higher PE ratio. So I'm kind of looking at 27.63 on the low end. As their efficiencies improve and Bitcoin price goes up, they become a little bit more profitable. You're looking at $41.44 potentially. But that's on the high end, I would think. But if Bitcoin starts going back up to 50,000, 60,000, going up to 80, maybe possibly 100,000 before the next halving event, or in the next halving event. We could see this definitely increase, but before the halving event or at the halving event, their numbers are going to drop by half as far as what they're going to be producing. So we really do need Bitcoin to go up prior to that, but we'll see how that's going to play out if it historically plays out like it has in the past. But that's it. That's kind of where I'm looking at right now. This is where I think they should be more or less valued at right now. Let me know what you guys think of this. I can't really say anything that they aren't already doing. I mean, they're doing everything that I would expect them to do. They are growing their hash rate. They are using their Bitcoins to fund their growth and their operations. They're not diluting shareholders. I think they're going to have to do some dilution, unfortunately, if they want to get to 22 exahash. But that's okay. They haven't done much of dilution as it is, other than the compensation thing for management, which we talked about prior. So we're not going to go over here. But that is it. If they can continue expanding like they have been, we're going to have probably, like I said, 2 months where there's no expansion. But after that, I would think we're going to see expansion happening, especially if they want to get to 22. They're going to have to grow by about, 1.3 exahash a month, roughly on average, to get to 22 exahash by the end of the year. So they got their work out for them. All right, that's it. Otherwise, great numbers from them. We'll see what December brings, and then we're getting into the next year. That's getting fun. We're getting closer to the halving event. I think things are going to start getting a little bit more interesting. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. As always, Spreadsheet. You guys know the drill here. It's available to my Patreon members. Thank you to everyone there for their continued support. They're fantastic over there. And if you want to become a member, Patreon member, it's only $4, a cup of coffee, and you get all the data that I have on all these miners. So that is it. Thanks so much for watching. Love you all. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. We'll have 1 or 2 videos over the weekend. All right. Bye.